Morning, everyone. So it's been a while. I've been on holiday. Technically not a holiday, but I went to Bali for a really good friend's wedding, and it was beautiful and such a celebration of love, and I was so glad to have witnessed it. And now I'm back, reunited with my tarot and oracle decks. I attempted to not bring one with me on holiday, which was 5 days. That was a mistake. I missed it a lot. So I am working with the Roots and Blooms, From Roots to Blooms Oracle, and the Tarot of the Mystical Moments. Now, I love this oracle deck. It's been my go-to, for the past couple of months since I've received it. But it's really deep, but there are a lot of cards as well that don't require you to overthink. And it doesn't have any sort of toxic positivity, so I really like that. So these are the what do they call this? There's categories of cards, and the ones that just have a word and then keywords in it are the roots, the blooms, the elements. These are the elements. Okay, so one of the elements is the leaves, and the leaves are about receiving, transmuting, and releasing. So I will read from the guidebook on what the leaves are here. There's an affirmation, so you have the same keywords that is on the card, and then the affirmation is, I welcome life's gifts with open arms, drawing in all that supports my well-being and releasing that which no longer serves my growth. And I pulled the Six of Swords as the tarot card to pair with this affirmation. And I find that that's really a beautiful pairing, actually. If we're talking about receiving whatever lessons we need to receive, transmuting them into growth, and then releasing that which does not serve, that is the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords asks you to carry the lessons that you've learned, but to move forward and to use it as fuel for the next part of your journey. And I love this depiction of the Six of Swords in this tarot because while it does maintain some RWS influences, it kind of really does go its own way. And I love that this person is holding on to something that has a star and is also on the other end of that has an anchor. So she is moving towards something, but she's able to drop anchor into any sort of island that will provide her with nourishment, with rest, and I really love that depiction. So I wanted to sort of ask, what do I receive? What do I release? Right? So let's look at this first. This says, their opinions are a reflection of them. Beautiful. And this one, find your boundaries and hold them. So if I'm looking at this, I would say that this is what I need to release, and this is what I need to receive or hold on to, right? So let's look at what I need to release first. It's talking about the opinions of others, that they are actually not so much about you, but they are a reflection of them. Now, I really do want to read from the guidebook because it makes an important distinction. And I won't read the whole thing, but it's about, if you take a step back, you will see that these perspectives offer a window into the other person's biases and insecurities. In the process, you might develop empathy for people who harbor such limiting, destructive points of view. In addition, you might discover that within those contrary opinions resides a nugget of genuine truth that could be gold and deserves your contemplation. And the questions that are asked, right? I love this. What opinions or beliefs about you do people tend to repeatedly have? Could there be any truth in their perspective? So it doesn't say that, oh, you have a negative opinion of me, therefore it's just not true. It does allow for introspection. And it also asks, how can you respond from a place of confidence and composure when you are confronted with someone's harsh opinion of you? And I love the first one, so I saved it for last. How can you detach your personal truth from the subjective opinions of others? So I love that this oracle isn't just like, toxic positivity in the sense of like, it's not a you problem, it's a them problem. Yes, and also have some introspection. Maybe there is some truth to what's being said, right? But I want to focus on the other part of that because this is the release part, releasing other people's opinions of myself. And people have a lot of opinions about me. I'm somebody that kind of lives out loud in her friend group. I don't hold many secrets. I don't keep things close to my chest. Like, I'm pretty open, I'm pretty transparent. So obviously, if you have that sort of attitude, then people will have opinions about you, and that's just how it will go. And here is the 10 of Pentacles. So what does the 10 of Pentacles symbolize to me? The 10 of Pentacles to me is actually this idea of how things should be. This idea of, I'm working towards this, and this is the goal, this is the right thing to do, this is how life should be. Now, if I'm talking about releasing other people's opinions of me, I think, if you've ever watched any of my videos or any of my posts, you've read them on Instagram, I come from a very religious background. And I am in a culture where there's not a lot of diversity as far as, well, in general, but also I come from a culture that's very rigid, let's say, in what they believe the right thing to do is, or how a life should look. For a woman that's approaching 40, that is part of this culture, that is part of a faith community. I still consider myself a part of that, even though I'm definitely on the outskirts. And everybody has an opinion, especially when I take risks in life. People have expressed their concern about the path that I'm taking, or the road that I'm going down, or the actions that I've, done, or the decisions I've made. And I have to be able to reconcile that I will never see eye to eye with my life, with how I conduct my life, with people that are very important to me. That is a hard truth to swallow, to be honest, because you want the people that are very important to you to support you. And sometimes the best that you can get is just an acceptance and an agreement to disagree. Now, I'm not talking about, major identity issues, like if I was LGBTQ and the people in my life didn't accept me, it's a different story. I'm not talking about that. But I'm nearing 40. I am unattached. I am childless, although I definitely count my cat as my child. I come from a Indian family raised in the Philippines, so you have two very sort of traditional cultures there, from a religious community that was very strict, and I've found my own way. And it's still sometimes, I still find myself trying to influence people's opinions of me instead of accepting that if I come to them with certain things, they're just gonna disagree. They're not the people that I need to come to for support for that particular area in my life or that particular decision. And that does hurt, but I need to release that. I'm not responsible for them, and their opinions are a reflection of them. I particularly love what the guidebook said. I'm gonna read it again. You might develop empathy for people who harbor such limiting, destructive points of view, because sometimes they are very limiting, destructive points of view, and it can get frustrating that they look at me and think I have a very and then we look at each other and we think like the other person has the limiting point of view. It is how it is. But the release here is to not take it personally. It's nothing to do with me being too much, too little, not enough, lacking. It's not about that. Now, what do I receive or hold on to even more? My boundaries. I'm struggling with this a lot actually. Recently, I feel, and I have a very contentious relationship with boundaries because I didn't have them for so long, that now that I do, and I kind of slip or I don't hold them all the time, I get very critical of myself. It's not just critical, it's like I feel like I've betrayed myself every time I let a boundary relax, or if I didn't hold it in a particular situation. It feels like a betrayal of self. Now, I don't want to see it that way because then I'm just condemning myself. It's not really helpful to have boundaries that act like rules instead of a fence, right? Like an open fence or like a gate instead of a wall. And I want to have a healthier relationship with my boundaries where if I do let something go, I don't beat myself up about it. I just say, oh, this was a reminder to hold the boundary the next time and not condemn myself. So finding my boundaries and holding them. This is so beautiful. I'm just gonna set these a little bit aside. This is the Nine of Cups, the card of, for me, I don't call it the wish card necessarily, I call it the pleasure card. Where do you find life's pleasures? And the King of Swords. I love these depictions, by the way. Just let's talk about it. A lot of my boundaries actually do revolve around my pursuit of life's pleasures because I grew up, what's the term? Parentified? Like really, really young. Must have been 6, 5, and I had to take on a lot of the roles of a parent. And I won't go into that, but it made me have this point of view that I'm not allowed to enjoy life. I'm supposed to be perfect, and being perfect means almost like not enjoying life because that's hedonistic or that's less than, or that's, it's almost like I was trying to be, it's almost like giving a pleasure is a holy thing, and it's not. Actually, there is something sacred about experiencing pleasure in life. And what is life without pleasure? So my boundaries now, coming from that background, right? I was experimenting and I was trying out a lot of things, and there were very loose boundaries for a time. And that's okay. Because everybody needs to sort of establish what their boundaries are. And you know how you establish that? By fucking up. By trying things. And by saying, oh, I think I want to hold a boundary there. Or, oh, this boundary doesn't serve me. I let that go. So now I want to hold more boundaries here that I feel are healthy. That are not from a place of shame. That are not from a place of following the rules. But actually are from a place where the King of Swords rules. And the King of Swords as an archetype is someone that is very, like, they have their own standards. They're very ethical, what that means to them, right? And they're able to see beyond the present, beyond what will give me joy and pleasure in the present moment, but what serves my best self in the future. So sometimes boundaries are about holding back on something for now so that you get something really beautiful and pleasurable in the future. And that is what I want to hold to. I want to remind myself that boundaries are not a way to be perfect. They're actually a way to protect and to get my future self what they want. So that's the reading for today. As always, thank you for joining me and take care. Bye.